Let's talk today about how to know who to push on Rebirth. This is easily one of the biggest areas that I see people struggle with when it comes to pace of play. You're looking to drop the 20 kill game or maybe drop 20s more often, yet you have moments throughout the game where you have no idea what to do. You don't know how to actually find people and then go push them. So today, I've got 7 tips for you. We've got 6 different ways that we can go about finding people on Rebirth, and then I've got one little quick tip on making decisions about who to push. We're gonna be checking out those things while breaking down this 27 kill game that I had, and we're gonna see a lot of those tips in play. As we're getting loadout right here, if you are looking to get better Rebirth, just consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I'm a 4KD player. I do videos every single day just helping people improve, and if you are subscribed already, thank you for the continued support. You are the reason that I can actually do this. Now right here, I want to make a quick note. We have 2 loadouts. Why? We're in duo trios right here. Maybe, no, we're in duo quads actually. So both of us are about to hit the loadout. I actually bought another one because we had enough cash and I already actually had a UAV in pocket. So I have another one just in case we die. This way we can keep loadout. If you have $13,500 and you already have a loadout down, go ahead and buy loadout and a UAV. This way you can continue to land on that. Makes the regain process much easier. But tip number 1 for finding people, let's get the obvious one out of the way. I always talk about cash flow is going to be UAV. We have 30 seconds with a UAV, and I want to highlight this because we need to capitalize and make quick decisions. I'm going to go ahead and push in, and we're going to see how many kills that I get while we have this UAV up. So there's number 1 right there. Notice that yes, number 2, tip number 2 is going to be mini-map pings after a kill. We can use that to understand where teammates are. So number 1 is UAV, number 2 is going to be mini-map pings, and then we're going to get into some more complex stuff about what to do when you don't have enough cash for, you know, a UAV or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and push in here. We're going to get this sweat with the hip fire. We use the Blixen right there, still one of my favorite SMGs. Last guy's across, so we're going to go ahead and farm him. Now, let's slow this down a little bit, okay? UAVs, you really need to focus on your cash flow. When you and your squad have $6,000, get that UAV up. You're going to see it right here. TCAP, drop money. I've got 6,000. My thought is immediately going to a UAV. And that allows us to understand a few things, where people are, but also a lot of you ask questions about how do I stop getting third-partied? Well, because you don't know they're actually there. If you have a UAV up, you'll understand that you're actually getting third-partied. And when I say third-partied, just understand you're dealing with 2 separate teams. Now, tip number 3 is going to be any dots on the minimap. With Vanguard guns, they're unsilenced. So if you see minimap pings of people shooting, and we'll see that throughout this game, I'll highlight it for you. If you see minimap pings of people shooting and you don't know where to go, start pushing that direction. Just go ahead and push over that direction. Now, we're going to go ahead and challenge up top here. Notice we use the minimap pings to understand that there's one over in this corner above me and one over in tower building. Now, hear me out for a second. 3 things, 3 crucial pieces of information that we get after a kill. How many teammates are still alive? That's an obvious one. Where are they in relation to me? That's an obvious one. Right here, 2 separated. Most importantly, though, where are they actually moving to? If I'm in a 1v3 or 1v4 situation and there's 2 enemies that are rapidly pushing me, that is much different than if they are split away from each other in how I go about challenging that fight, right? I know I can play a little bit more aggressive here because I'm dealing with kind of 1 teammate. Now there's 2 people here, right? And we're gonna keep that in mind. Now there's 1, the other guy was flying in. So we're gonna go ahead and clear that corner. This is where a UAV comes in handy, right? I know this guy's right above me, so we're gonna go ahead, 1 more ping, and now we're gonna challenge. We end up missing this jump spot. He's gonna go push down, and we're gonna keep reviewing these throughout the game. We're gonna keep seeing how they apply, and we're gonna keep reviewing. Okay, so let's talk about this situation right here. We're able to get the thirst. 1 is in tower. Now, right here in this moment, I have no idea where anybody is, right? But tip number 4 is going to be hot areas. Hot areas of the map are going to be places like Control, Prison, Headquarters, you know, maybe Nova 6, although that's a little bit on the outskirts. There's generally teams floating around here. So if you're not sure where anybody is and you're on the outskirts, places like Biochem, Decon, you know, maybe Stronghold, Living Quarters, understand that you can push towards those hot areas. And once we get there, then we go into tip number 5, which is going to be audio cues. Now, I want you to understand that audio cues are awful in this game when it comes to directional audio. Audio right now is really bad, but to the extent that we can use audio just to understand that people are around us, right? If I'm in prison and I hear footsteps, I may not know exactly where those footsteps are, but I know that at that point I can anticipate, I can keep clearing corners. I know that there's at least some people around me that I got to be prepared for. So let's go ahead. We're going to get this kill right here. I don't panic. This guy's on my level. We're going to use the minimap ping right around the corner. Quick reload, and then we'll go ahead and challenge this guy with the slide cancel and the jump and the strafe. Right there, just a little bit of basic movement, a little bit of strafing, a little bit of slide canceling there to challenge. And by the way, right here, I want to talk about this play. So we end up getting the kill, we reload. I noticed that one is over on my level to the left and one is actually right basically around this corner. So as we challenge right here, we get the down, but I am very low health. Immediately, my thought process goes to this third enemy is going to start pushing me, right? Enemies stack when they're in danger. So this guy obviously knew I was here. They are working their way towards stacking. So this is why I stim to go ahead and get away. But the moment that I hear that shooting, right? Go back to tip number 2, which is mini maps, or sorry, tip number 3, which is hearing people shooting. As soon as I hear fighting over there, I know that I can quickly get this third because he's preoccupied by other people. So that's a little bit of like super quick decision making. But at the end of the day, that's where we start to use the shots being fired with unsilenced Vanguard weapons to understand not only that people are around us, but that there are two teams, right? If people are shooting, they're not just shooting at the wall, obviously. So you got to know that they're fighting, and you're kind of putting yourself in between two teams. So you're doing the third partying, but you got to also keep in mind that you could be third partied, or you could get mixed up in the action a little bit. Now, last one is over kind of all the way backside. So right here, we don't really have any information at this point that we can immediately act upon. So let's go ahead and keep pushing. Let's review as we're challenging. This is an audio cue right here. So I heard this guy somewhere, and now I'm just clearing. Notice the centering around corners. I'm ready for this person. I can't fully tell where he is. As TCAP's pushing up, TCAP grab money. You guys, you have to be aware of your cash flows. There's one thing that I could really emphasize for you to work on is work on getting in the habit of buying that UAV. That's going to make it a whole lot easier. Now, let me address the one tip about making a decision about where to go. This is a question that I get all the time. Joe, there's a lot going on this mini map, and I get it. The one question you always have to ask yourself, I guess there's two questions. One is like, is this a tough position to be in, right? A lot of teams fighting around this area. This is kind of a dangerous spot to put yourself. You can do it if you execute well, but notice that there's a team over here a little bit spread out. I don't have to worry about getting third partied. I can farm them a little bit. And at the end of the day, one of the biggest things to understand is where should you rotate to? One of the things you have to ask yourself is where do you fight well? Where do you not fight well? If you don't fight well in control, do not push control unless you absolutely have to because it's endgame. So keep in mind and start paying attention to where you fight well. If I go through a time where I'm not fighting well in Nova 6, then if I have a decision between fighting a team in living quarters or Nova 6, I'm going to go ahead and go living quarters and play that way. So we're going to go ahead and push over here. Quick review, UAVs, mini-map after a kill, any dots on the map in terms of, shots being fired and using that to our advantage. We talked about hot areas. We talked about audio cues. The little bonus tip was, of course, where do you fight best? Where do you struggle? And then we'll talk about the last one here in a second. The last one, I don't think we do a whole lot of. By the way, watch this play right here. Notice I talk about don't panic a lot. Now, this is a really tough spot because I'm not reloaded. I'm just going to go ahead and use this to my advantage. We're going to drop below. Then we bunny hop, right? We challenge really far out. Little bonus movement tip. We're able to go ahead, get him right there. We stim, and now we're going to go ahead and play it up. The last tip that I have for you and we're at 11 kills. We've got 8 other teams. Really good game, and I know I'm on good pace. The last one that I have for you is going to be bounties and big game bounties. Understanding that you can, of course, use the occupation scan as well. That's a great option. But bounties and big game bounties, that just gives away the location of a team. You don't really know exactly where they might be building wise. You don't know how many, but at least gives you a direction to push. One little actually bonus tip that I have for you as we're going and pushing up right here is going to be a lot of times if you're pushing a team based on a bounty, based on, mini-map pings of people shooting, you're bound to run into a team, or even pushing hot areas as well. You're bound to run into a team before you actually get there. So right now, I know that I'm pushing into two teams. This is a great example of obviously right here there's two teams fighting, so I know that I'm pushing into a situation where I have to play this a little bit smarter because I'm not always going to get that immediate information after a kill. I could get 2 kills and they be on separate teams, and all of a sudden I've got to keep that third team in mind. Now, we're not talking a ton about execution or pace of play or anything like that today. This is simply how to go about finding more people. One right there. What do we get? Okay, nobody near me. I know I'm okay. I also know that there's still people in here. 15 kills, 7 other teams. 15 kills. If there's something you have a question about, and I have not done a video already, or I haven't done a video, actually, let's just do this. If you're struggling with something and have a question, put it down in the comments below. Put it down in the comments below. I'll try to respond to as many comments as I can over the next day or so, and either give you the video that I made on it, or maybe it gives me an idea to make another video. Right here, Where is everybody? I have no idea, okay? So right here, I hear one to my right. That's an audio cue, so we anticipate we're gonna get challenged by Chem. Now, I don't end up pushing Chem here because that's pretty far out of the way. That guy's in there. It's a really, really tough push. You know, it's tough to actually push into Chem because you gotta push out into the open, right, from this harbor building, and you're really susceptible. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna push back to the hot area. A lot of times when I'm on these outskirts and I don't know where anybody is, my first instinct is to go ahead and push towards prison, push towards the headquarters area. That's the center of the map. So of course you're gonna have more teams right there. We don't have enough for a UAV, and this is one thing to keep in mind. TCAP and I are very split. If you are playing with randoms, you definitely need to grab more contracts. By the way, what did I tell you about loadout? Remember, both of us grabbed loadout early, so we got our loadout immediately. That loadout just stays up there, and that's where 13.5 is your magic number, where you can get another loadout down, and this makes the regain process so much easier. Say a team is camping grandma's house or camping top prison, right? Okay, well then I'll go hit the other one. Say somebody's camping the other one. Okay, I'll go hit grandma's house. So that's where 13.5, especially early game, is sort of a magic number for you, where you can play a little bit smarter, get that second loadout up, and you almost preemptively prepare yourself for the rest of the game, because you'll always have multiple loadouts up. Let's go ahead, challenge up this way, try to see what we can find. Not really sure just yet, right? So I get a dot over to the left. This is a great example. We've got a few people fighting over here. We got a few people fighting over here, but I'm gonna go ahead, try to see what I can find. Not totally sure just yet. And when you hear shots fired, you know, you need to naturally check that mini-map. The other thing, bonus tip, I know a lot of you know this already, but let me just cover, because I also know there's a lot of people that don't, which is going to be precision airstrikes and clusters. If somebody calls a precision or a cluster, they pop up as a red dot on the mini-map. So you can also use that to your advantage. TCAP's gonna come to me that there's one right in front of me. Go ahead and push through. Yep, get smoked by the Cooper carbine. Second channel is down in the description below. I do loadout videos 3 to 4 days a week over there, giving you high kill rebirth loadouts, whatever it may be, meta guns, giving you some insight into what you can possibly use, what, you know, gun is people talking about that maybe isn't as good as it, you know, it is that people are saying. So that's what I was trying to say. Giving you some insight into what guns are good and, you know, what guns people are talking about that aren't as good as... I don't know what I'm trying to say. You guys get what I'm trying to say. TCAP's gonna help me out here. TCAP, this is where TCAP and I kind of help each other as content creators. I've got 18 kills, 6 other teams. Let's keep pushing the issue. Don't really know where anybody is. Little audio cue right there, right? Little audio cue of the zip. I can't get the kill, unfortunately. I don't see him. We get the UAV up, so I know that one more is above me. Can't exactly see where he is. I also know that there's people at decon. There's people back behind me. Now, let's talk about who to push right here. A lot of times what I say is you just need to make a quick decision. I want to capitalize on this 30 seconds of the UAV. So this is the hot area, of course. What I don't want you doing is wasting too much time opening that mini-map and being like, okay, where should I push? Well, this guy's over here, and there's 3 teams over this way. It's like, no, just make a decision and you'll figure it out from there. So right here, I'm gonna jump down and I'm just gonna go push decon. This is the closest one to me. It's going to allow me to capitalize on the full 30 seconds of that UAV, giving me insight into where these people actually are. Patience, look at the trigger discipline. Don't give away my positioning until I absolutely have to. There's one, there's 2 right there with the Cooper. The Cooper's absolutely nasty, and once again, we are in quads. Now, I don't have self-revive. Actually, I do have self. Still need to be careful there. I don't want to over-commit to that, especially because I didn't really have an advantage. So, there's the thirst right there. Notice that 2 are above me. So, there's the mini-map pings. All of a sudden, now I know that they're above me. So, I'm going to use that to my advantage. We're going to keep challenging with momentum, trying to see what I can find. There's one right there. I catch the second one on the backside. And I don't want to wipe this team. I don't have stims. This is a problem. We're able to get down, though. I don't want to wipe that team because we're going to farm them. We're going to keep them alive, let them respawn back in, give us an opportunity to get more kills. We've got 20 seconds on respawn, so that whole entire team is going to fly back in, giving me an opportunity. If I were to wipe that guy, I get 4 kills. If I let them fly back in, I potentially get 7. It's a little high risk, high reward. You got to be able to execute, giving yourself a few more chances to die as well. But at the end of the day, as you're getting better, something that you need to do to drop high kill games. It's something you have to do to drop a 30 bomb, and frankly, we'll make 20 a little bit easier for you. It'll make 20 a little bit easier. Now, I see the team over to my left. This guy flying in right here. We're able to get that down. Give me the throwing knife, please. One more up above. Now, I end up getting caught in a weird spot here because I get too hyper-focused on one enemy. So, when I always say that there's not really a wrong decision about who to push, I'll stand by that, but there could be a better decision, right? So notice where kind of this full team is. Notice there's teams over to the top right of the minimap. There's teams over to the bottom right, and those are full teams. Whereas I kind of get caught chasing one guy, which just kind of kills my pace a little bit, right? We always talk about in terms of pace of play being in the action. This just kind of kills my pace. And look at this goose chase that I'm on. I mean, I chase him so far. And all of a sudden now I got to push all the way back. I've kind of given up a little bit of positioning. We don't really have a good circle pull. TCAP's going to be all the way over, and we're going to push up right here. 24 kills, 4 other teams still alive. I should have smoked that guy with the Cooper. I should have smoked him with the Cooper. And right here, we should fight for top prison area. Not top prison, but courtyard. We got to get down though. Woo! It's okay. I got self. That's where self is a huge advantage. You know, definitely pick up your self-revive during the fire sales if you can. If you can keep it from beginning to end, I mean, that's even better. Let's go talk about how we can clutch this up. I get caught in a weird spot. Now I have to challenge that, right? That's a must challenge situation. And I'm able to catch him off guard. But if you miss shots there, you could potentially be in a really bad spot. We're going to go ahead and push up right here. 25 kills, 4 other teams. We know we got big game bounty floating around here somewhere. By the way, end game, big game bounties are incredible for information. It tells you where one team is. Also, if you get that kill, it tells you where everybody else on the map is. So big game bounties, I would highly encourage you to grab those late to really get information about where people are. TCAP's going to drop gas mask and the ammo for me so that I can get reloaded. And the gas mask is just so that I can kind of make the gas play if I need to try to drop the 30 bomb. You know, he's trying to help me drop the 30 here. Don't really see anybody just yet. Bunch of people above. And we're going to get a pretty bad circle pull right here. Super unfortunate circle pull. All the way across. And that's just unfortunate. And that's where I talk about like power position and cover. Like if we were in courtyard already and had fought for courtyard early, which we kind of got stuck a little bit because I got shot early and I had to push down. But like we could have still re-engaged and fought back up for it. Now this is where one thing we could talk about endgame is if you're gonna rotate and try to get in the best position possible to hold people out of circle, then don't try to actually fight people along your way. That's what's gonna end up happening here. I've got 26 kills. We're gonna get the down right there, but because I shot that guy, I end up giving away my positioning. We get the thirst right there. Notice we end up getting shot from that guy because I gave away that positioning, right? Enemies stack when they are in danger. If you are playing with teammates that you know, if you were that guy that got shot on the roof of decon, you immediately calm that you just got shot from where I am. So I would have been better off to just rotate early, get to the position, and then focus on getting those last few kills to drop a 30. Instead, what ends up happening is I get caught out in the open, really tough position. I choke the 30. It is what it is. You know what? We re-queue back in. We drop another good game at some point throughout the night. So I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.